I've had to start this meeting April 1st, 2015, Oceanside City Council, Harbor District, CDC. Yes, hey, April Fools. And we'll have a roll call, and we'll have our city attorney.
Mayor Wood. Deputy Mayor Lowry.
Here.
Councilmember Feller.
Here.
Councilmember Kern.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Council meeting closed session to discuss item 2A, conference with real property negotiator involving the property of the Oceanside Municipal Airport. Negotiating parties, City of Oceanside and Airport Property Ventures, LLC. Under negotiations are price and terms for the lease amendment of the real property. There is no meeting on item 1.
Adjourn. Welcome, everybody. Get started. Roll call, please.
Mayor Wood,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lowry,
Here.
Councilmember Feller, Councilmember Kern,
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez. Here.
Thank you. Consent calendar 129.
Yeah, consent calendar items 3 through 9. Move approval.
I'll second that.
No public on that.
Any,
No public on that item.
thank you. Item 10.
We touched
Item 10.
Let's vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion approved.
Too much of a hurry. Gordon?
Hey, you're on. Motion approved. 5-0.
I wanted to say on next one, item 10, 11, and 12, taken at the same time, one at a time, and we'll send them a vote on each one after.
Perfect. Item number 10 is approval of plans and specifications for the Mission Basin Groundwater Purification Facility Operations Building Project, and authorization for the city engineer to call for bids, and adoption of a resolution approving the Mission Basin Groundwater Purification Facility Operations Building Project Mitigated Negative Declaration and Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program.
Jason?
Honorable Mayor and council members, before I get started, I want to talk briefly about Governor Brown today issued an executive order that emphasizes how urgent our water conservation is for California. The Water Department is still reviewing the details of the order, and we'll be doing everything we can, everything possible to comply with the mandates, as they are moving forward. Later this month, we'll have a much clearer indication of what our water supplies will be for Southern California. But until then, we're asking our businesses, our residents, to do their part by reducing water consumption in any way possible. We'll have further updates as we get through this critical time. So thank you. The Mission Basin Groundwater Purification Facility, it's located on a 4-acre parcel at 215 Fireside Drive. The plant was originally constructed in 1992. It was expanded in 2000, 2003, 2008, 2011, 2013. The facility has a rated capacity of 6.4 million gallons per day. It utilizes reverse osmosis for treatment of groundwater to a level acceptable for human consumption. This water source equates to approximately 14% of our total water supply for the city of Oceanside. Additionally, this source is one of our most economical water sources that we have here for the city of Oceanside. This slide here shows an overview of the site plan at the facility. It includes the existing operations building and the proposed location of the new operations building. This slide is a photo of the existing building as it currently sits today. The existing building was part of the original expansion in 1992. It is constructed of several modular trailers. The building was intended to be a temporary structure. The structure has served our needs for approximately 20 years. The building does not currently meet the needs of the facility, nor will it handle the future expansion. And additionally, the structure is extremely inefficient and is located exactly where our future expansion will take place. The project consists of a new operations building capable of staffing approximately 16 individuals. It will also house the new SCADA control center for the entire operations. The engineer's estimate on this project is $2.25 million. Our adopted budget is $3.8 million. It is anticipated that the construction for this project will take approximately 18 months. An initial study and mitigated negative declaration were prepared as part of our CEQA compliance. This here is a architectural rendering of the proposed building. The look has been modeled after our San Luis Rey facility. This building will be one of the first buildings in the city of Oceanside to get and receive a LEED certification. The building is currently registered as a new construction, gold building. We have included special energy efficient HVAC system, a bioretention basin. We've incorporated recycling, recycled building material into the construction of the building, and we've also included low flow fixtures. All of the items mentioned equate to points that are necessary and that make up the LEED certification ranking. There are 4 different levels of LEED certification. They start out at certified, they move on to the silver, to the gold, and then to the platinum. So we are very pleased that our construction and our building is certified as gold, which is the second to the highest. Staff is requesting City Council approve plans and specs and adopt a resolution approving the initial study, mitigated negative declaration, and authorize the city engineer to call for bids. This concludes my presentation.
Hang on there.
No public on this item.
Back to council, please. Councilman Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And did you want to have a motion, or you wanted to wait until later for the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I did have a question before, Jason, before I make the motion. That is, will solar be part of this project?
Solar is not part of this project, but we're looking at it as a future expansion to include as part of the expansion of the overall facility. We need more rooftop in order to accommodate the solar, and there's just not enough on this building.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move approval of the plan specifications and authorize the call for bids and adopt the resolution.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
That's good. Mr. Kern, please.
2 things. So, the future expansion, do you foresee another RO building going where the temporary ones are now? Is that what we're talking about?
That is correct. We're other than the existing buildings at the temporary facilities is where the expansion, which would be another set of trains, of RO trains, whether that be for the desal or if it's for the expansion of groundwater extraction and treatment. So we need that space for the expansion.
Okay, thanks. And actually, I guess I'm thankful that Irving Gill finally actually did some work here, because it seems like every building since Irving Gill did his design, we designed every building in the city after Irving Gill. So not that it's this bad, but I'm getting kind of tired of seeing the same design for every building. So I don't think anybody's going to see this building particularly because of the way it sits, but it seems like it's be a little bit more creative than that. And I think our temporary buildings have outlived their useful life. I know the last time I was in there walking across the floor, they were pretty soft. You know, so I think we've squeezed every bit of effort out of those buildings we can possibly get. So, thank you.
Go ahead and vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Number 11.
Item number 11 is authorization to award a contract in an amount not to exceed $1,600,490 to Hoffman Southwest Corporation, Professional Pipe Services of Walnut, for the closed circuit television sewer inspection program, approval of the professional services agreement with Infrastructure Engineering Corporation of Oceanside in an amount not to exceed $145,600 for the inspection and construction management services during construction, and authorization for the city manager to execute the agreements upon receipt of all supporting documents.
Jason.
Honorable Mayor and council members, the closed circuit televising or CCTV provides several benefits for the sewer department. These benefits include pipeline inspection to locate and detect issues and problem areas within our system. It also provides the department with early failure detection, which results in reduction of potential spills. It provides condition assessment for the existing pipes to determine the remaining useful life and assists the development of target area repairs and propose critical improvements such as cured-in-place pipelining. Finally, it is also anticipated that in the future that we will be required to televise the entire wastewater collection system approximately every 7 years. The existing system consists of approximately 450 miles of pipe ranging from 6-inch to 42-inch. The general breakdown of the pipes are listed here on the slide. Approximately 58% or 263 miles of these pipes are manufactured out of vitrified clay pipe or VCP. Prior to the development of PVC or plastic pipe, vitrified clay pipe was the primary type of material used in gravity sewer construction. Although VCP is very durable, it has been proven to be appropriate pipe material for gravity sewers. It is susceptible to root intrusion. Roots are the #1 cause of backups in our sewer system today. This slide here shows the entire system, approximately 450 miles of sewer. Generally, you can anticipate that wherever there's a street, an asphalt street within the city, there's probably a sewer in that street or very close to it. This slide here shows all of the VCP in the system, which is approximately 58%. This slide here indicates on red, indicates of those, of the VCP pipe, which ones we have been able to televise over the last 3.5 years since 2010. Part of that reason is our current staff spend quite a bit of time evaluating existing problems and doing condition assessment on call-outs and root intrusion and grease and backups. So about 25 to 30% of their time is spent on repeat investigation on televising and does not allow us to get the entire system televised. The project consists of cleaning and debris removal, televising the pipe with advanced high-definition cameras for fast, accurate televising. It also includes a pipe condition assessment in accordance with the National Association for Sewer System Companies, or NASCO, standards, and integrates this information into our GIS system. This part of the project, the rating of the pipe and integrating into our GIS system, is by far the most difficult and time-consuming part of the project. On November the 5th, 2013, City Council approved the plans and specifications and authorized the city engineer to call for bids. On February the 17th, one bid was received from Hoffman Southwest Corporation with a bid amount of $1,600,490. The bid was reviewed. It was determined to be in compliance with city standards. The project will also require the assistance of a construction management inspection firm, more so for the inspection of the work being performed. On November 25th, 2014, a request for proposal was sent to 15 consulting firms. On December the 9th, 2014, 5 proposals were received and evaluated. Infrastructure Engineering Corporation provided the best proposal for this project at a not-to-exceed budget of $145,600. The total cost for the project, including the inspection, is $1,736,000. The engineer's estimate is $1.75 million, and our adopted budget is $2 million. There are sufficient funds to complete the project. Staff is requesting council award the construction project to Hoffman Southwest Corporation, approve the plans and approve the professional service agreement with Infrastructure Engineering, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreements. That concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions.
No public on the side.
Back to council. Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's really great to see Oceanside Business get the award. Is this the most latest technology?
It is. This is one of the, and the reason I went with it is because it's not necessarily fairly new, but it is a very high-tech technology. It gets a very comprehensive inspection of the sewer pipe, and some of the videos we've viewed of other agencies they've used have been very impressive.
Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move that the City Council award the contract to Hoffman Southwest Corporation, doing business as Professional Pipe Services of Walnut, for the CCTV sewer inspection program. Approve the professional services agreement with Infrastructure Engineering Corporation, IEC, of Oceanside in the amount not to exceed $145,600 for inspection and construction management services during construction. Authorize city manager to execute the agreements upon receipt of all supporting documents. Thank you.
What was that? I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Mr. Feller.
Hoffman's out of Walnut, is that right?
That is correct.
So infrastructure management services, is that what the name of it is? Is that?
Infrastructure Engineering Corporation is a local business. Yeah.
The only thing I might suggest is that we try to do as much of this. Where was I? The pipe that the VCR or VCP it needs to be probably serviced near the water sources, the streams, the rivers first, in order to prevent those kinds of spills. So.
That's correct. We have one of the consent items that you approved. We are targeting with community-place pipelining a majority of the pipes that are currently adjacent to or crossing streams and creeks. So those are our target areas because we know we have infiltration, from the creeks.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Kern.
Just a couple of questions. One, the recordings that we make of those pipes, who owns those? Do those come to the city? Those are ours now. So if we go back, I know we had a problem a few years ago that we actually were lucky enough to have recorded videos of the pipe under Arroyo that proved that it wasn't our sewer line. Right? So is that, if they do that, does that stay with our servers, or how's that work?
Yes, we will be provided with with all the video at the completion. It will be integrated into our GIS system, so that way we can pull it up as necessary through the GIS, and we'll have a location of where it's at, and we can watch the video through there. And then we will have the actual videos in our archive system.
Okay, and I guess the other one is, if they see a immediate problem, they contact your staff and to get somebody out there right away?
That is correct. So if there is a critical failure in the pipe, they will notify us immediately.
Okay, thank you.
Felder, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 12.
Yeah, well, right now we'll get this. We got one for you late at night.
Yes, item number 12 is authorization to award a contract in an amount not to exceed $4,072,486 to SCW Contracting of Fallbrook for construction of the Robert A. Weiss Filtration Plant Solids Handling Lagoons Project. Approval of a professional services agreement with Coroyo Engineers of Oceanside in an amount not to exceed $107,137 for engineering support services during construction. Approval of professional services agreement with Tetra Tech of Oceanside in an amount not to exceed $193,440 for construction management and inspection services for the project, and authorization for the city manager to execute the agreements upon receipt of all supporting documents.
Honorable Mayor and council members, the Robert A. Weiss filtration plant is located outside of the city limits off of Gopher Canyon Road, as shown here on the map. The plant was originally constructed in the early 80s, expanded in the mid-90s, and has a rated capacity of approximately 25 million gallons per day. The plant takes raw water purchased from the San Diego County Water Authority, treats it, and sends it down to the residents here of Oceanside. This here is a bird's eye view of our existing facility and the existing lagoons. Part of the treatment process requires the use of settling ponds, which is what we call our solids handling lagoons. The existing lagoons are constructed of concrete, asphalt, and gravel. They are outdated and they no longer perform effectively or efficiently. This is a conceptual view of the proposed lagoons. The new lagoons will be constructed out of concrete and have been designed to increase efficiency, enhance our ability to comply with our current and our future needs as stipulated through the drinking water regulations in the Department of Drinking Water. The project consists of new concrete lagoons, a new pump station, along with associated piping and valves. We will continue, and we have been, engaging the public with our public outreach, and we will continue that endeavor for the few residents that are out there near the facility. On January 7th, 2015, the City Council approved plans and specifications, authorized City Engineer to call for bids. On February 26th, 5 bids were received and reviewed. The lowest responsive bid was that provided by SCW Contracting in the amount of $4,072,486. The project also required the assistance of a construction management and inspection firm. On November 25th, 2014, a request for proposals was sent to 15 consulting firms. On December 9th, 2014, 5 proposals were received and evaluated. Tetra Tech provided the best proposal for this project at a not-to-exceed budget of $193,440. Core Engineers, which is also the design consultant for this project, will perform engineering support services during construction for a not-to-exceed price of $107,137. The construction cost for this project, all-inclusive, is $4.072 million. The CM inspection support services cost approximately $300,000 for a total construction cost of $4.373 million. The adopted budget for this project is $4.797 million. Therefore, there are sufficient funds to complete the project. Staff is requesting City Council award the construction project to SCW Contracting, approve a professional services agreement with Tetra Tech and Corel Engineers, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreements. That concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions.
Thank you.
No public on this item.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to go ahead and move that we award the contract and approve the agreements. And it looks like the Utilities Commission and Utilities Department is going to be very, very busy. How long is this going to take?
We're hoping to try to get this project done in about 12 months. There will be some, at the beginning of the project, obviously we have quite a bit of submittals, and through that process it usually takes about 3 months, 2 to 3 months. And so as we move into the construction, it'll take about 12 months to get this project done into construction, actually boots in the field.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Feller.
Thank you. What this is sits on the pipeline that's coming out of is it Diamond Valley or Lake Skinner, and so we're taking water off of that pipeline. What kind of solids are in there?
That's correct. So it's raw waters that have not been treated, so it comes straight out of Skinner Lake, and so there are the residual solids that you would normally find in any pond or lake or reservoir because it is has not been treated to drinking water standards. So those are the solids that we get out of it. The TDS needs to be removed out of the water, and that's all part of the direct filtration that we perform up there at Weiss.
So fish, it could be.
No, you don't see fish, making it down to the plant. But
not sewage.
No, this is drinking water. This is the water that comes from Northern California, and at times comes from the Colorado River. So this is our non-drinking water. It just has not been treated. We have an option of buying either treated water that's ready for consumption, or we can buy untreated water, which has not obviously been purified, and then we treat it ourselves.
All right, thank you.
You could second it.
Okay, I'll second it.
Mr. Lowry.
Thank you, Mayor Wood.
Deputy.
I have a question about longevity of the existing and the longevity of the new construction project.
So the existing structures, the ponds have been in existence since the mid-'80s. So we're 30 plus years into use of those. And I don't know if necessarily at the time they were the best technology available, and that's what most plants were using for their settling ponds or their solids handling lagoons. Obviously, technology has improved over time, and so the new design, being built completely out of concrete, will have a much longer lifespan. I would say in the 70, probably 50 to 70 year range. And there is room for expansion. We have left a little bit of room on the site plan if we need to add another basin. So it's very simplistic and very basic, and so that's the beauty of this type of treatment, and so it should last quite a long time.
And what's the predicted expected output of that project of drinking water?
This will allow us to maximize our plan at 25 million gallons per day.
Thank you.
Good. Mr. Graham, please.
Just, one comment. Actually, it's better coming out of Skinner than Diamond Valley. Diamond Valley is Colorado water, and it's very high in TDS. The Skinner water is much better quality. The question I have is service disruption. I mean, you're going to try to be building. It's like we're changing the tires as we're driving down the street. So the idea that, I guess, two things: will there be anticipated service disruptions, and what do we do in the event of an unanticipated service disruption?
We have worked very closely with our operations staff to try to construct this project so as not to prohibit our ability to treat water at the facility. So as part of the project, we're trying to get one of the ponds built and activated in an operation before we take all of the existing ponds out. So we'll take 2 of the 4 out, build 1, which will allow us then to continue to operate the facility. We have measures in place that if we need to bring in additional basins, like Baker tanks, that we can do that in order to allow for the settlement in case there's an issue. And then the plan C, the backup, obviously, is that the beauty of being able to purchase either treated or untreated water. If we have a problem, then we can convert over to all treated water or supplement whatever we need to with the treated water, and so that our residents are uninterrupted, with the supply. That's the worst case scenario, and we prefer not to purchase the treated water if we can avoid it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, with that, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
Item number 13 is approval of Amendment 1 in the amount of $152,595 for professional services agreement with Environmental Science Associates to add refinements and revisions to Task 9 land use policy amendments for the Oceanside Coast Highway Corridor Study, and authorization for the city engineer to execute the amendment.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Members of City Council, John Emerson, Transportation Planner with the Traffic Section. The item I bring for you tonight is approval of Amendment 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with Environmental Science Associates for the Coast Highway Corridor Study. Last year, in August of 2014, the City Council approved a Professional Services Agreement with the Environmental Science Associates in the amount of $256,100. This money was used to complete the Environmental Impact Report and the Mitigation Monitoring Program, as well as the review of city's land use policies and zoning amendments leading to recommendations as described in Task 9 of the current scope of work. Under this amendment, Task 9 would be expanded to implement changes that incentivizes future development along the corridor. This includes adoption of appropriate land use and zoning amendments, amendments to parking standards, establishment of parking districts, transfer of development rights programs, and a streamlined review of priority projects, uses, and opportunity sites.
This amended task assumes that changes will be limited to the zoning ordinance and that amendments to the local coastal plan will be processed by city staff with assistance from the Environmental Science Associates at the coastal commission meetings. The fiscal impact under Amendment 1 for Environmental Science Associates is in the amount of $152,595. The current available funds in the Coast Highway Corridor Study EIR account is approximately $317,000. The funding source is Transit Fund 212, and therefore there are sufficient funds available. As such, staff recommends that the City Council approve Amendment 1 in the amount of $152,595 through the professional services agreement with Environmental Science Associates to add refinements and revisions to tax line land use policy amendments for the Coast Highway Corridor Study and authorize the city engineer to execute the amendment. I can answer questions at this time.
Steve Vaughn.
No public on this item.
No public. Okay, back to us. Mr. Feller, please.
John, this does not have anything to do with traffic then?
No.
At this point?
No.
Is this a kind of a bit-by-bit environmental approval?
No. We actually had an opportunity last summer. It was revealed to me that we acquired the former redevelopment bond money, the city agency's money, and I was directed to spend about $308,000. And I was doing my best to spend as much as I could, but I realized that in the 2009 Vision and Strategic Plan, there is an action items table with follow-up recommendations. And so we took this as an opportunity to address the plan-wide initiatives that were listed in that action items table in the vision plan. And so we're just trying to come to fruition a lot of the recommendations that were made as part of that vision plan back in 2009. And I think it's important to note that the idea here is to create a street environment that works cooperatively with the land use environment. So there's not these competing interests that the street and the land uses create a sense of place, that they work together, creating that sense of place.
I agree with that, but I just want everybody to be cautious if we are pinching down this coast highway with some of these land use plans. We're going to be gridlocked in the city, so if we have to figure out a way to open more roads, make people, because you're not going to make everybody get on a bike going through the city. So, you know, 5, all the environmental documents that have to take into consideration roads that we're opening or closing, or whether it's, you know, well inland. I mean, Highway 76 and 78 end up right in Oceanside. So, you know, I just want us to keep that in mind as we go forward. But I move approval of what you're planning to do with this.
I'll second. And Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand that there is a Coast Highway committee of sorts. There are about 15 people, maybe more.
There's a couple dozen, actually.
A couple dozen,
Yeah.
so about 24 people.
Yeah.
What did they think about this?
Well, the feedback has been pretty positive so far. We've only had 2 meetings. We've still got 2 more meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for May, and that's when we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes of the alternatives. We were at the first 2 meetings getting input from them to understand what their concerns are so that we establish parameters for developing the alternatives, and now we're going to bring forward a general framework of alternatives and make refinements with the steering committee and then bring those to the public for their input.
Wouldn't you want to have some feedback as to what they're willing to do, and not just those who own property, but also in the corridor, but I mean everyone that's either lives in the area, works in the area. I mean, I have some concerns. It is $256,000, and we're talking about maximum heights, and we're talking about transfer of development rights. I would really like to know a little bit more before we start spending that money. I'd like to really hear from the community as to what their vision is. My understanding thus far is we're not talking about going up. So I was really surprised to see this maximum heights issue here. I'd rather see that really kind of discussed and decided before we say, yes, let's start spending this $56,000?
The transfer development rights task was listed as one of the plan-wide initiative action items in the approved vision plan. And so we're just following up with that,
right.
that action item list as part of this process.
So I think we should, as a community, determine whether or not some of these things, because we did have that workshop in South O, and there were a lot of folks who seemed to either forget what the discussion was from several years ago and were adamantly against it. You do have this committee that I guess it's only met twice. I had actually hoped that it would have met more times than that. But you now have this committee. You're trying to get more people from the community to kind of revisit and review what it was that people discussed several years ago when we did talk about the vision plan, and we did basically all agree to the vision plan. It sounds like we still have our homework to do. If you're saying you've only had 2 meetings, it doesn't sound like you've got buy-in yet. So I'm really reluctant to start saying, yeah, let's start to spend $256,000 to review the city's land use policies when we don't have a lot of things already worked out.
Well,
those are my concerns.
Honorable Mayor, council members, thank you. The 250 has already been allocated to the first task. This one is a change for, I believe, an additional 150. And having discussed with staff, in the adopted vision plan, it included language of the transfer of development rights, and it also included language about looking at a corridor-wide parking management plan for those nodal areas. I think from what staff is trying to do at this point is get some details. So we're not doing anything that's not going to come back to you in some way, but it's to get enough detail so as they go out to the community meeting, they can say, here is what this parking management plan means. Here are the details of the transfer of development rights. It's not to create and implement something, it's to get additional information so that as we come back to you through that community process, we actually have something that the community can buy into. I believe part of the problem we have today is if there's a question, what does this parking management area mean? We don't have a defined answer just yet, and part of this effort will be to refine that for both the development rights and the parking management studies, and to tie the land uses to what's in the vision plan, because right now, to go to that community meeting, we would not have those answers.
If I could expand on that a little bit, I think part of the challenge with the 2009 vision plan also is that it's an advisory document. There's nothing that's really codified, or there's no real incentives to entice developers to comply with the recommendations in the vision plan. So these action items under the plan-wide initiatives really bring that home and hold that carrot out there for developers to incentivize them to comply with the recommendations. And to have that in conjunction with any improvements we do to Coates Highway, I think would create a sense of place if we can make that come to fruition.
I would feel more comfortable, because I was at that committee meeting, and I listened to people who I thought actually had supported the vision plan speak out, speak against it. I would feel more comfortable if this would have been presented to them and explained to them, so that coming here to the council, they understand what it is that we're doing or not doing. The first thing that they're going to think is, why didn't we hear about this during our meetings? Or was it presented during the meetings?
No, the focus of the community meetings is the alternatives development. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I have to say, I have also attended the South Murchison Neighborhood Association meetings, and it sounded to me like they really wanted to be part of this. And the way to get to buy-in is to have people feel like they are truly a part of the process.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a motion already. I would like for them to hear this, and then I guess it would be a delay of about a month.
I don't know. I'm not sure how long that would take.
Well, when is the next meeting?
Next steering committee is planned for May. The holdup right now is the modeling, the sand egg modeling work, and we're nearly completed with that. And once the modeling work is completed, we'll have the framework of the alternatives under future conditions for the steering committee to consider. Let me add also under
So the modeling would be done by the May meeting. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, and then there will be a community-wide meeting in June, followed by another steering committee meeting after that, and then another community meeting. And this is all focused on getting input on the alternatives for the corridor. But if I can just add, the amendment also includes a few meetings for the TDR program development. I mean, it could be revealed in the meetings that TDR program is not viable in Oceanside. So that's why we passed meetings with private property owners and development community to discuss these programs with them.
Yeah, I guess I'd still feel more comfortable if this committee that was, and I helped get a few people on there. I think you already had 15. We added, I think, 3.
Yeah.
So now you've added more.
Sure.
People who really felt, we're talking about business owners and members of the community, they really wanted to be part of this. They really wanted to be able to feel like they helped create whatever it is that we want to create on Coast Highway, especially South Oaks, and that's where we were going to hopefully start.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seems to me that this is putting the cart before the horse, and I would feel much more comfortable if we put this off until they hear this. So.
Flower?
Thank you, Mary Wood. John, I've got a couple of questions. Where is this area we're talking about on Coast Highway? Does it not extend from the north end down to around
It's the
Oceanside Boulevard?
entire stretch of the corridor, but there's focus in the nodal areas as well as the AT district along Cleveland Street.
So is there anything south of Oceanside Boulevard in this proposal?
Yes, there are 2 nodes south of Oceanside Boulevard. Yes.
Where are those?
There's one at Oceanside Boulevard at the Spinner Station called the Spinner Station node, and then we got the South Oceanside node that runs essentially from Eaton to Cassidy Street, and it's a circumference around that area.
So this is a result of the Coast Highway Vision and Strategic Plan. Is that what this is?
Yes.
It's the ongoing. So that was held in 2009. That was a series of public meetings where there were lots of public participants in addition to the people on the committee doing the work.
Yes.
So we are just moving ahead with the direction that was taken at this ongoing series of community meetings.
Yes.
Okay, so I think what Councilmember Sanchez is concerned with is that perhaps the people in South Oceanside are feeling kind of pushed into this thing that took place with a lot of community outreach and did run down as far south as the Sprinter Station, just south of Oceanside Boulevard. Did the original plan include anything further south of that? I don't believe it did.
Yeah, the original, are you referring to the vision plan?
Yeah.
Yes, the vision plan identified catalytic sites and nodal development areas that are concentrated where the Sprinter stations are located, or the transit center. And so it's logical to establish a node at Oceanside Boulevard Sprinter Station, but then also to establish a neighborhood community node down there at South Oceanside between Eaton and Cassidy Street. That's essentially it for South Oceanside.
Okay. I suggest we move it ahead instead of starting over again, because a number of people, I was at some of those meetings where the people were pretty concerned about what was going on. So I'm hoping you've got people from South Oceanside included in the meetings that you're having.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I see no further questions. Call for the vote, please.
Motion approved 4-1, Sanchez no. Item number 14 is approval of professional services agreement with Manson Construction Company of Seattle, Washington, in an amount not to exceed $600,000 for the dredging of an additional 50,000 to 60,000 cubic yards of material from the harbor mouth to be placed on the beach south of the pier, and authorization for the city manager to execute the agreement.
Thank you, Peter.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. I guess I'll open this with don't get your hopes up. The item before you is a request, and we're asking for you to go ahead and, if you so desire, approve the professional services agreement subject to actual approvals from the Corps of Engineers. What we're trying to do as a result of the annual dredging of the harbor mouth and putting material on the beach, the Corps of Engineers about 2 months ago identified through their pre-dredge surveys that there's about 240,000 cubic yards of material in the harbor mouth. Due to their congressional authorization limits, they are only allocated to dredge about 180,000 cubic yards. The Corps approached us to see if we might be interested in contracting, doing a financial contract, which is the item before you today, directly with their contractor for the additional material, which we agreed to do. We negotiated directly with their contractor, who agreed on a bid price that they bid for the Corps for the unit cost for sand, so that we're not paying any overhead, insurance, mobilization, or demobilization costs. It is just simply to do the additional dredging. As a result of that, that agreement is before you. Last week at the pre-construction conference, the Corps regulatory staff raised an issue with us, since the Corps, under their environmental approvals and in their plans and specifications, they have approval to dredge as much material as readily available, and they can take it all the way as south as Tyson Street. The 180,000 yards that they plan on dredging will be placed by North Coast Village in front of the pier, and they're trying to go as south as the playground structure that is just on the south side of the pier. If the Corps had this money, they could just keep doing the dredging. But because we are considered an independent third party, the Corps regulatory staff has indicated that we need separate permits, and we cannot operate with the Corps' contractor under the Corps' current contracting agreements. We feel that this is an important project. We have raised this issue with the Los Angeles District, with their head civilian in charge and also the colonel. They're trying to find a way to allow this to happen. I did get an email this afternoon from the Corps saying it is unlikely that they will be able to find a way around their internal regulatory requirements. We have placed a call to our federal representatives to see if there's anything they can do. At this point, the Corps' contractor is scheduled to start the dredging on April 6th, and it is about a 2-week process, so we do have a little bit of time. But at this point, the Corps is indicating to us that their internal processes, 1, did not allow us to give them money directly to the Corps, and 2, they do not allow us to contract directly with their contractor without going through an extensive independent environmental review. Now, I will tell you that the city is pursuing a separate opportunistic sand permit. That negative declaration is going to go out for public review, I believe, early next week. Hopefully that will be processed and be available for council action within the next 3 months. We did have an opportunistic sand permit that was in place for several years that had expired, so we're renewing that one now. Unfortunately, it is not going to be in a position that would allow us to put this material on the beach. So I'm asking that you go ahead and take action on this item, subject to us getting an approval from the Corps to actually discharge the material. If we don't get that, we've already been in contact with the contractor. They understand what's going on. So if we do not get authorization, we will just not execute the contract. But if we do get the authorization through the Corps, that we'd like to execute the contract to get that extra material on the beach. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Do we have extra money already set aside for the...
Mayor, Council, yes, you actually had set aside $650,000 for the Wayland sand. And if you recall, last year when we tried moving that material due to additional core regulatory issues and the grain quality of the sand was not adequate to put on the beach, and the amount of material went from what had been estimated at a significant amount. I believe originally they were at 100, 120,000. They were actually got it down to almost only 8,000 yards of material. And quite honestly, for the amount of money we were looking at for that, we'd have been better off going to Home Depot and buying bags of sand.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah. I just,
Are you, Sanchez?
Yep. Yeah, well, we had been talking about this, and my questions had to do with whether or not the quality of the sand was good from Wayland Lake. And Peter, I believe you told me yes, it was a good quality sand.
The initial studies that we conducted had indicated that the quality was adequate. The Corps followed up with some additional studies, and they made a determination that it would not be adequate to put on the beach. Even though if it rained hard, that material would end up on the beach anyway.
I'm sorry, you said that the Corps...
The Corps did follow-up studies and came to a determination that they would not allow all of the material on the beach. About 8,000 yards could be placed on the beach.
Okay, so, and that's what we're talking about with $600,000.
That was originally what we're looking at now, is the harbor, just doing additional dredging at the mouth of the harbor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move approval. Hopefully you'll work some wonders with the Army Corps. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
I'll second that.
yeah, okay.
I have a question about the entire project cost, including, well, and what's the total, including if we go ahead with the $600,000. How much is the Army Corps willing to spend on this?
I believe the Corps' current budget for, and it's hard to break out because they did a 3-year contract and they are in the 3rd year of that 3rd-year contract. The Corps' cost for just doing their portion of the dredging, I believe, is close to almost $3 million, and they have some mobilization, demobilization costs. So they have a congressional funding limit, and I don't know what that actual total is for the 3rd year. But when they hit that limit, it's at 180,000 yards of material. They are looking to reprogram monies, and they think they might be able to get an extra $10,000 or $15,000, which is a little bit, but is not as much as we could do. So that's why we're trying to find a way to just have the contractor do the extra work. Because if they don't take it out this year, they're going to have to take it out next year. And so we will be in a position, as long as the funding's still available, which has been restricted for sand, we will be in a position next year to actually move the material, either with a direct contract with the Corps, because we'll have time to do that, or we will have our own separate permit in place.
So the Corps, on just this project, is about $3 million?
I believe that's their current cost, but they're obligated every year to dredge the harbor mouth.
Yeah.
And so it's annually, and that's part of the lobbying trip, is to ensure that the president includes sufficient money in the budget to do the harbor dredging.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Kern, please.
Just real quick, so the environmental authorization is for 240,000 yards. That's what they identified that they can take. But
the environmental is for as much material as the Corps can move within their funding limits.
oh, okay.
So if the Corps had money to move 600,000 yards and go all the way to Tyson, it's included in their project authorization.
But they only identified 240,000 that's available. Is that right?
There's 240,000 available based on a survey they did. They can only fund 180.
80,000. And we're trying to fill that gap.
Yes.
And then we're getting caught in the bureaucratic morass of the Army Corps of Engineers, which is basically bureaucrats with shoulder breasts. So anyway, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. That's it. No further questions. Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
We now do time to take a break prior to the 6 p.m.
Let's a couple of quick ones.
Okay.
Can we do 25 and 26?
Yes, I'm at
Mr.
25 and 26,
Attorney.
the attorney.
Item 25 is the adoption of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside, California, amending Chapter 6, Article 11, Section 6.57, General Compliance Requirements, Unreinforced Masonry Building Mitigation.
Okay. Any
No public on this item.
council? Go here. Sanchez.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second. Any, no. Let's, Mr. Feller, do you have a vote on it, please?
Motion approved 4-1, Feller, no.
Thank you. 26.
26 is the adoption of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending Chapter 10A of the Oceanside City Code prohibiting smoking in outdoor unenclosed dining establishments.
No public on this item.
Mr. Sanchez.
Move adoption.
Second. I'll second it. Mr. Feller.
As Logan Jenkins put it, is 70% of the most Oceanside restaurants are smoke-free. What's the practical point of a ban except to voice official disapproval for a legal vice? The marketplace has created meaningful choice, but the council in its finite wisdom has made intolerance universal. And that's how I feel.
So you're voting for it? Go ahead, vote.
Motion approved 3-2, Kernan, Feller, no.
Okay, let me look here. Mr. City Attorney, your closed session report.
Thank you. The council met in closed session earlier at 3:30 today. There was no meeting on item 1. Item 2 was conference with real estate negotiator involving the Oceanside Municipal Airport. Negotiating parties are the City of Oceanside and Airport Property Ventures. Under negotiations are price and terms for an amendment to the lease of the real property. That matter was discussed. Direction was provided. There's no action to report under the Brown Act.
Thank you. That's all I need. I'd like to take a 10-minute break. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been here before. Out to the double doors upstairs, restroom and bathrooms and water fountain. Thank you. rough is.
I'm going to try. Kind of goes with it. You're doing it. Still here. Yep. Okay.
Delivered by City Clerk Zach Beck, who is also youth pastor for the Fields Church.
Please bow your heads. Father, we come before you say thank you. Thank you for the privilege, the blessing, the honor it is to reside here in the city of Oceanside. We come together as a community of diverse backgrounds, different beliefs, different presents, and different futures, yet one common goal, and that's the betterment of this community. We take time during this very special week to lift up Councilmember Seller, Councilmember Kern, Councilmember Sanchez, Deputy Mayor Lowry, and Mayor Wood. We seek your guidance, wisdom, and discernment during the deliberations that transpire this evening. And we wish for wisdom granted throughout the remainder of our time together. We say all these things in the precious name. Amen.
Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Miss Oceanside, Victoria Troop, and Miss Teen Oceanside, Madison George.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Now, wait a second. See if
And ladies, please stay there. Okay, next we have a proclamation for
Miss Oceanside and Miss Teen Oceanside and their courts. Will the following individuals please come forward when I call your name? Brittany Nicole Garcia. Mariana Cruz. Those were the Miss Oceanside princesses, and now we have Miss Teen Ocean princesses, Lauren Bell and Jasmine Calderon. I would also like to call forward Oceanside Sea Lions President Zuzette Ronaldes and Vice President Liz Matosa, Project Coordinator and Sea Lions Community Liaison Pam Pinky, and Secretary Ed Ash.
Wow, isn't this impressive? Wow, well, not all of them.
This is a proclamation in honor of the 2013 Miss Oceanside and Miss Teen Oceanside and their courts. Whereas the Oceanside Sea Lions was created in 1968 and established the Miss Oceanside, Miss Teen Oceanside Scholarship Pageant in 1981, and whereas these young ladies were crowned on April 5th, 2014, and have represented the City of Oceanside and Oceanside Sea Lions Club as goodwill ambassadors at many events throughout San Diego this past year, and whereas they attend Oceanside High School, El Camino High School, Mission Vista High School, Cal State San Marcos, Palomar College, and Maricosta College, and are students in good standing with honors and are involved in school activities. And whereas they are very involved in community activities and have attended numerous events, including the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce Sunset Mixers, ribbon cutting ceremonies for new businesses and anniversaries, Operation Appreciation Day, Harbor Days, Main Street Oceanside Mixers, Oceanside Christmas Tree Lighting, Oceanside Pacific Kiwanis Beach Fun Day, Bike the Coast, Oceanside PCM Turkey Trot, Friends at Oceanside Parks Concerts in the Park, Sundays at Heritage Park, the Oceanside International Film Festival, the FOAM Annual Cultural Event, OCAF Days of Art, Friends of the Library Tea Party, and other school and city programs. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim my sincere appreciation to Miss Oceanside and Miss Teen Oceanside and their courts for their volunteer efforts on behalf of our community, and gratefully acknowledge them for representing our city this past year. Issued this first day of April, 2015.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor Wood, council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josephine Mabas. I'm the president of the Oceanside Sea Lions Club. We would like to express our deepest appreciation to the mayor, to the council member, and to the city for giving opportunity to these young ladies to represent the city as ambassadors, which they did with grace, respect, willingness, and enthusiasm. We are truly proud of them. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hello, everybody. Once again, I am Miss Oceanside for 2014 to 2015, and I believe that I speak on behalf of all of us that we have enjoyed our year as ambassadors for Oceanside, working along with the mayor, the Oceanside Sea Lions, and the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. We have enjoyed our year so much. It's kind of sad that it's coming to an end, but we're so grateful and so honored to be part of the Oceanside Chamber family, as well as ambassadors for the city. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Madison George. I am this year's Miss Teen Oceanside. I wanted to say that I've had the best year. I've made a lot of great connections and had experiences that I will last me a lifetime. So I'm so happy to have this opportunity, and thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Brittany Garcia, and I am Miss Oceanside's first princess. I want to say thank you to everyone who supported us this year, as well as the amazing memories that we've made together as sisters. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Mariana Cruz, and I'm Miss Oceanside's third princess. Just want to thank everybody from Oceanside City for accepting us and opening us with with open arms and helping us out through this whole year and just encouraging us to do our best. Good afternoon, I'm Lauren Bell. I am Miss Teen Oceanside's first princess, and I'd like to thank the City of Oceanside for this wonderful opportunity.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine Calderon. I am very, very proud to be a part of this journey that's lasted me this whole year, and very sad that it is coming to an end, but it made me realize how proud I am to have grown up in Oceanside and be part of Oceanside and be a volunteer and student ambassador for Oceanside. Thank you.
All right, dears, I want to say thank you again, and please come to our pageant, which is on April 25th at 6 o'clock at the James Truex Performing Arts Center at El Camino High School. It's an amazing journey. A couple of these girls are going to be competing again, and it's going to really be a lot of fun. So we hope to see all of you there. Thank you.
Well, I just represent the little people of the world. I've been lying for not as long as the president, but for quite a few years, and I'm enjoying being a lion. Anybody wants to join, you can always contact us. We're on Facebook, and we welcome new members at all times.
Thank you, ladies, for all you've done for Oceanside. All the visits that she read off the proclamation of all the events went, that's just a small portion of it. You go to many events representing themselves and Sequanas, and we want to thank you for that by having you at the TV and having you present yourselves. So wonderful. We appreciate it. We get another picture.
Next, we have a proclamation for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. Please come forward when I call your name. Joanne Katrin and Tina Ortiz, chairs for the Team Development and Registration Committee. Brianna Ortiz, Facebook Administrator. Brian Dabrowski, Logistics Assistant. And Donna Harrell, Event Lead for this year's Relay for Life.
No, they're going to read it.
Okay, we have a proclamation in honor of American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, April 18, 2015. Whereas cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States, and 1 in every 3 Americans is being diagnosed with cancer. And whereas the American Cancer Society is a nationwide, community-based health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem. And whereas the American Cancer Society is the largest nonprofit, non-governmental funder of cancer research in the United States, raising money through programs such as the Relay for Life. And whereas the Relay for Life is a 24-hour event that offers communities an opportunity to participate locally in the fight against cancer. And whereas Oceanside's Relay for Life event will be celebrating its 15th anniversary. And whereas Oceanside's Relay for Life will be taking place on April 18th, 2015 at Maricosta College to celebrate cancer survivorship, to remember loved ones lost to this disease, and to raise money for the fight against cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim April 18th, 2015 as Relay for Life Day. I further encourage all of our residents to recognize and participate in this anti-cancer campaign held in our community to show support of those individuals living with cancer and to honor those who have lost their lives to this dreaded disease. Issued this first day of April, 2015.
Thanks, Mayor. Council members, as you just read, this year the Relay for Life, which is a 24-hour event, will be held April 18th from 10 a.m. in the morning to April 19th at 10 a.m. in the morning. Now, the first thing you need to know, you do not need to walk for 24 hours. No one walks for 24 hours. But if you want to put together a team, it costs you nothing. You go online. Tina will give you the website, I hope. You go online and you can sign up your team, and then you come on down and help raise money. We ask the teams to bring a silent auction item. That helps raise money. We ask you to buy some food. That raises money. And anything that you can do, when you do go on to sign up, they will ask you to donate. $10, $20, it doesn't make any difference. Because if you can imagine 180-some thousand people in Oceanside donating $1, that would be absolutely fabulous. Last year, after 15 years, we hit the $1 million mark, so we're starting all over for our next million. And we normally raise between $80,000 and $90,000 here in Oceanside. So we're really excited to have everybody come down and see what we're all about.
Thank you, Donna. My name is Tina, and I'm here because I'm passionate about the fight against cancer. I lost my husband almost 14 years ago to colon cancer, and at that time there weren't too many things that could help with the treatment for colon cancer, but I don't know if people are aware, but in Genentech here in Oceanside, they are now producing a drug that helps with that fight. Those are the advances that are being made with the money that's being raised here locally in our own community, staying here. The American Cancer Society is about just survivorship. We celebrate those that have fought and are continuing to fight, and at the Relay we also remember those that have lost their fight. I invite all of you to come out on April 18th. We are there, like she said, 24 hours. We start out with a wonderful opening ceremony that celebrates the survivorship, but I also invite you to come back to the track at 9 o'clock that night, where we light up these luminarias, where we do them in memory or in honor of those that are doing the fight. The entire track is lit by luminarias, and we walk around and we remember, and we are there to support each other, console each other, to laugh with each other. That's what Relay is about. It is the fight, and I ask you all to join us that weekend, April 18th. We thank you, Mayor, for making it the Relay Day. I hope to see you there. I will be there 24 hours, and I'll walk 20 of the hours, not all 24. But so thank you very much. You can find us on, I'm sorry, my Facebook administrator didn't say this, but we are on Facebook. So just, and our website, just Oceanside Relay for Life, and you'll find us there. Thank you.
I have to say, number one cause out there. My sister at 40 died of cancer. My best friend, Jerry Sawyer, recently passed away from cancer, and it's taken a lot of impact on the city. But you guys, for the last how many years have been out there, every year doing this. And please show up and show your support for these people who do it all the time. We thank you very much.
Next, we have a proclamation for North County Earth Month. Will Colleen Foster, Senior Management Analyst for the Oceanside Solid Waste and Recycling and Water Utilities Departments, please come forward? Proclamation in honor of North County Earth Month, April 2015. Whereas the mission of the Green Oceanside campaign of the City of Oceanside is to bring environmental awareness and stewardship to the citizens of our community, and whereas each year Green Oceanside employees from various city departments collaborate to present environmental education programs and public participation opportunities that teach our community how to be better stewards of the planet by recycling, reducing waste, composting, conserving water and energy, and preventing water pollution. And whereas during the month of April 2015, Green Oceanside presents Earth Month 2015, offering various environmental events and activities such as a Create to Educate calendar contest, a Use Oil Filter Exchange event, California Friendly Landscape contest, Donate First Day, California Friendly Landscape Workshop, Banana Alta Creek and Beach Cleanup event, a DIY compost bin design workshop, and an Earth Festival event in downtown Oceanside. And whereas the Earth Festival, North County's largest Earth Day event, will be held on Sunday, April 19th, 2015, and will feature environmental booths, children's eco zone, water conservation and green home improvement areas, water-friendly landscaping ideas, good food, and live entertainment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby encourage all of our residents to participate in Oceanside's annual Earth Month events to make our community and the world a better place to live. Issued this first day of April, 2015.
Actually, I just want to say a few words. I just want to thank the continued leadership that we've had from the mayor, our deputy mayor, and our city council. So please visit www.greenoceanside.org for information about Earth Month. Enjoy April. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 22.
Yes.
Item number 22 is introduction and ordinance amending Chapter 29 of Oceanside City Code by establishing wastewater system buy-in fee increases for all new development customers based on water meter size, except residential single-family connections, which will be charged for a 5/8" meter regardless of water meter size, and also establishes special user wastewater buy-in fees based on excess water usage and strength characteristics. An introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 37 of the Oceanside City Code by establishing water system buy-in fee increases for all new development customers based on meter size.
Thank you. As the mayor, I'll open this hearing, and as close as you, Jack.
We only have had staff contact, no public.
Yeah. Staff.
No contact.
Staff only.
Thank you. Any correspondence or petitions? None. Jason, long time no see.
It has been a while. Honorable Mayor, council members, we have before you here tonight is our water and wastewater capacity fee increase. It is necessary for the water department to impose fees for new and upsized connections for our water and wastewater system, which equitably recovers the cost of providing the necessary capacity within our system. The capacity fees are a one-time payment for new development and upsizing of existing services to purchase into our system. There is a requirement to provide a reasonable nexus between the fee and the cost to provide that capacity. The fees and the updates to these fees prevent a situation where our existing customers and existing ratepayers may end up subsidizing new development for their capacity. The fees are intended to balance the equity between the existing and the future customers, and may include components for water resources, system assets, and reserves. The California Governmental Code requires that the city periodically review these fees to ensure that there is a proper nexus between the fee and the system costs. The reason that we must update these fees is due to the fact that our assets or our system values have changed over time. The department has also completed a capital improvement program that details all the necessary improvements for new capacity within the system, and the fees provide the necessary funding for the expansion projects, which ensure that the existing ratepayers, once again, are not subsidizing our new developments. Some of the major projects that are included as part of the department's expansion for the water division include desalination, recycled water, and improvements to our distribution system. The wastewater division includes collection system improvements and treatment plant expansions. The capacity fees are calculated by taking the value of the existing assets, adding to that our future capital projects necessary for capacity, and then dividing that by the total number of future customers. So for our water system, those assets include the items listed here in this fee breakdown, and they are as follows. For the assets that we've calculated for our existing system, approximately $292 million. The proposed expansion within our CIP is $177 million for a total of $470 million. Our current meter equivalents within our system is just over 66,000, with our future capacity of adding approximately 18,000 for a total of 85,539 total meter equivalents. When you take those numbers and put them into the fee calculation, it looks like what you see here on the slide, the 292 plus the 177 divided by the meter equivalents, which equates to the $5,500 per meter equivalent. When you compare our fees with other agencies within our region, the current fees are just below the average for San Diego area, and the proposed increases will put us right at about the middle or the median for the water connection fees for San Diego area. For the wastewater side, the fees are calculated the same way. Our asset value is listed here as $566 million. The expansions for our CIP projects, two of them here combined together, approximately $51 million, for a total value of $617 million, and you divide that by the additional equivalent dwelling units of 79,531, which includes the additional anticipated dwelling units for additional capacity of the 17,000. These numbers here put into the calculation formula as shown here, the 566 million plus the 51 divided by the 79,531 equivalent dwelling units equates to $7,768 per equivalent dwelling unit. When you compare the wastewater connection fees to those other agencies in our area, the existing or the current rate puts us once again just below the average or median, and our proposed fees put us just slightly over the median. This slide here shows the two fees combined together with our current as shown just below the median, and then our proposed fees just slightly above. As part of the fee updates, we also have special industrial users within our system. We have approximately 10 users, but those fees also need to be increased. The fees are associated with the higher than normal wastewater that is generated by those users. They all have individual permits with the department, and these fee updates are shown here. The update to our capacity buying fees are necessary to ensure that we are equitably recovering the cost to provide new capacity and that our current ratepayers are not subsidizing new development. Therefore, staff is recommending that City Council introduce the ordinance tonight, amending both Chapter 29 and Chapter 37 of the City Code. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing item. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward to address the council for 3 minutes at this time. I see none.
I see none. Close this public hearing, come back to the council. Start off, Kern.
Thank you. A couple of questions. One, as far as the existing capacity and future capacity. The future capacity, are we projecting a build-out or just over a short period of time?
That is built out.
Okay, and so we're dividing it by the number of customers. And the replacement cost of the existing system, we're actually, I'm trying to make that leap. We're asking the people just coming in now to pay for the replacement cost of the existing system?
Minus depreciation.
Minus depreciation.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
I just wanted to...
The fee is calculated because we include the existing users in that, the bottom number, the denominator. We include our existing users, so we include then the assets depreciated.
Yeah. And you may not know the answer to this question, but looking at your charts, why is Carlsbad so extremely low? I mean, they're, you know, Vista, you know, Leucadia, San Diego, they're kind of, the Carlsbad, it seems like they're really an outlier. Is there something there that we should have done years ago that Carlsbad did?
I unfortunately can't answer for Carlsbad.
You want to, I know you're not feeling well, but if you want to, I think you're probably familiar with more area-wide stuff.
Yeah, there's been each agency has its own policy decisions, and one of their policy decisions has always been to try to keep rates and connection fees as low as possible. So,
Is he on? His mic turned on?
sorry, Rob Getham, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Crollo engineers. I was noting the city of Carlsbad has had policies in the past of trying to keep rates and fees as low as possible. I would note that their fees really don't reflect their cost of service providing that service.
So are they shifting that cost to existing customers then?
Effectively, that's what effectively happened. So as Director Gafford noted in his presentation, anything that's not recovered through a connection fee, a fair share of the system to serve an existing system that will serve future customers as well as its future costs would then be ultimately borne by ratepayers.
Okay. And then, the one question I asked beforehand, that was to the city attorney, was this is not subject to a 218 hearing. This is something about buy-in.
In my understanding, it is not subject to the 218, but we did move forward with a public hearing.
Okay, I'm glad the city attorney probably agrees with you.
You are correct. There's case law directly on point that capacity fees are not subject to 218. They are subject to the Mitigation Fee Act 66013 and 014 of the Government Code, which requires estimated reasonable cost of providing the services. So there's still a standard that applies, and you still have to have a public hearing.
I know we have a tremendously aging wastewater system. I think our water system's in fairly good shape. The wastewater system is probably going to need some work over the next few years, as we witnessed on the other previous council items that you had about cameras and things like that. So I'm going to move approval, or actually the introduction of the Chapter 28 ordinance. So I think 29? I got to get my glasses.
Just to be clear, there's an ordinance for both water and wastewater. They're separate ordinances.
Oh, okay. So,
So the first ordinance is with regard to Chapter 29, wastewater. The second ordinance is Chapter 37, water system buying fees.
Okay. I'm going to move approval for that one.
Second.
Second. Mr. Feller?
Thank you. So this is new or replacement?
That is correct. For new construction or new development, and then any, not necessarily replacement, but any homeowners that require additional capacity, if they do a major expansion on their existing building, they may need to upsize their meter depending on how many fixtures they add. But if for the existing customers, they only pay the difference between what they already own in capacity versus what they need for the expansion, so it's a much reduced rate.
So are we replacing these in some great number?
Our meters, we have a meter replacement program that replace, I think we spend about $400,000 a year replacing meters throughout the system. And we target, obviously, the older meters that are 20 years plus. And we are looking at, further advancing that program to try to get more of the meters updated to advanced technology in the future.
I get that. My concern is that we're not forcing homeowners into upgrading.
No, so any of the replacements that we do on existing customers are at no cost to the customer. It's part of the rates that they currently pay. So that's considered the replacement or fixed asset replacement funds that we get from our existing ratepayers.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Wood. My highly technical question from reviewing the materials in advance. So it's possible that these fees could be adjusted again in the future based on costs that we incur in the future?
These fees should be updated on a regular basis because the asset values change and the cost to do the improvements, the actual construction of the capacity do change over as we move forward in time, so they should be updated on a regular basis.
And the fees as proposed here are based on the actual costs of doing the service. It's not just, I looked at it and I noticed that your analysis said there was a percentage, but the percentage was based on the actual cost of installing the...
That's correct. Yeah, based on cost and asset values you can put together. Yeah.
I appreciate that you did it like that because I've done both ways in my business where you just do a percentage across the board and say, that's great, awesome, to save me 6 weeks, or you just have to analyze it, and I appreciate that you analyzed it, so I want to thank you for that.
Mr. Kern.
Just one quick question. When will these take effect? And then if we have projects in the pipeline now, are they going to be subject to these new fees, or is it, I guess that's the question of the timing.
Yeah, I believe the ordinance states 60 days after adoption is when they take effect. And so I think if, Mr. City Attorney, I have to correct me if I'm wrong, the adoption will happen at the next council meeting, and so it'll be 60 days after that they take effect. As far as the existing, the projects that are currently permitted. At the time that the meter actually is ready for installation, that's whenever fee is in place at that time, that's the fee they'll have to pay. So some of the construction may fall into the new fee schedule.
Okay, and the city attorney's shaking his head, so I imagine he agrees with us.
Yep.
Is that
Go
it?
ahead and title this, Jim.
Yes, I would like you to title it.
Okay, so we have two ordinances. I'll title the first and let you vote on that, and then we'll do the second. This is an ordinance, introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside, amending Oceanside City Code, Chapter 29, wastewater system buy-in fee increases.
A motion?
You had it.
Okay.
I make motion to accept.
Yeah.
Okay. Vote?
Motion approved, 5-0.
And then the second ordinance is the introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside, amending Oceanside City Code, Chapter 37, establishing water system buy-in fees.
Motion accepted.
I did vote.
Hey, vote?
Mr. Kern? Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Item number 23 is presentation of the draft 2010 through 2015 consolidated plan for housing and community development for review and comment.
The mayor opened this public hearing and asked for disclosures from council members and contacts.
It's only staff.
Yep. Staff.
But no contact.
No contact.
Thank you. Any correspondence
None.
or petition?
None.
None. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I'm here tonight to present the Federal Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. These funds must be used to help low and moderate income persons through decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities. A requirement of the program is that every 5 years, the community develops a new strategic plan that sets forth specific course that builds on local assets and coordinates a response to the needs of the community. The 2015-2020 consolidated plan outlined the anticipated uses with the annual action plan outlining the specific strategies, activities, goals, objectives, and resources. The 2015-2016 CDBG program budget follows the prior council direction to limit CDBG funding to programs and activities that work out of city resource centers, recreation facilities, senior centers, or that serve CDBG eligible neighborhoods. Our CDBG allocation for next year is $1,209,134. This is a slight increase of $8,800. And our home allocation of $402,249 has been decreased by 9% from the current year. The detailed CDBG budget is outlined in Exhibit A. This reduces the proposed public service budget by $1,512 due to the reduction of the prior year's program income, which is part of that calculation. The 2015-2020 consolidated plan outlines the city's housing and community development needs, priorities, goals, strategies, and stipulates how CDBG funds will be allocated to housing and community development activities. The CDBG program has 3 national objectives: to benefit low and moderate income persons, to prevent or eliminate slum or blight, and to meet community development needs that have a particular urgency. Once it is determined that a national objective is being met, CDBG funds may be used for eligible activities including, but not limited to, public facilities and improvements such as parks, streets, sidewalks, public services within certain limits, such as senior youth programs, fair housing, health, housing development, acquisition, rehabilitation, many uses. The objectives and strategies address how our housing, homeless, community development, and economic development objectives for the next 5 years will be met. Objectives vary from Section 8 housing choice vouchers to ending homelessness for veterans, assisting organizations that provide programs and services to youth, implementing our neighborhood revitalization strategy plans, and assisting organizations that provide services leading to employment and public improvements. Staff was presented the strategies to receive community input and will place the draft consolidated plan on the city's website, at the libraries, and the city clerk's office.
The community at large has 30 days to comment on the consolidated plan or turn in surveys identifying their priorities for staff to consolidate and take back to council at the May 6th meeting. Some of the priorities identified for community input are similar to the other priorities. Incorporated into the consolidated plan is, for the first year of the plan, is our 2015-2016 projects. Recommended for funding are outlined in Exhibit A to the staff report. These allocations assist the city in meeting its housing and community development needs, as outlined in the plan, and help preserve programs and activities that work out of city resource centers, recreation facilities, senior centers, and or serve the community. Staff recommends that the City Council approve the 2015-16 Community Development Block Grant Program budget, approve the allocation of funding for various housing and community development activities, planning and program administration, and approve the allocation for various public services. And we'll come back to you at the May 6th meeting for final approval. Thank you. Staff is now available to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing item. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item, they come forward at this time.
I see none. Close the public hearing, come back to the council. Coming back, Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand this is information only and you'll be coming back, but I do have a question, and that is, I understand that our homeless issues are increasing in Oceanside, that we seem to be having more and more cases, so to speak, having to do with calls about homeless in our downtown areas and other places. So I was wondering if you are working on addressing the increase and how these programs are going to be able to focus on them.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. We are going to be focusing more on homeless issues, and Ms. Hannafin will be presenting on that in the next item, actually, to give you an overview of that.
So some of these funds will be used for that? Is that?
Actually, the funding sources for the homeless that we have available, we're looking to put in the budget for 2015-16 some money that we're receiving, some income to do homeless prevention programs, and then the Department of Housing and Urban Development has invited us to apply for some special vouchers for veterans to end homelessness for veterans. And we're also, and Ms. Hannafin will be asking tonight for permission to change our administrative policy to allow us to dedicate some vouchers to serve the homeless people. So, yes.
Yeah, it is. You know, part of it, of course, is not having a place to sleep, and many times what we're seeing is an increase in, say, homeless youth, and maybe even families. What are we going to be doing about homeless, excuse me, on the streets, that even if they have a place to go, there's still some problems. Well, we're talking about vouchers. I have the voucher, and they're very, you know, it's great. I've been talking to the chief earlier today, who was reporting to me about this increase. I asked him why he thought that we're seeing this increase, and he felt it's because we have some resources that perhaps other cities don't. And then, of course, the weather is you know, pretty good here in Oceanside.
I think that part of the increase that we're seeing right now is because of weather and also because of the transit center being here in Oceanside. However, we're not really experiencing as a region more per se. It's actually going down. And we're starting the 25 Cities project, and so that will be helping to alleviate the homeless problems.
So you're reaching out to other cities to hopefully do their part as well, right? Because it seems like we're doing a little more than other cities.
Actually, the Housing 25 Cities is started off in Escondido and Vista, where they have all of the veteran homeless services over there. So I don't think it's because we have more services in Oceanside, because Escondido thinks the same thing as what's wrong in Escondido, that they have all the social services. And we have been addressing this issue as a region so that there is not a burden placed on one city over another city, but that we address this as a whole region. And I think that we're headed in the right direction with the Alliance for Regional Solutions, which we actively participate with.
Will you be coming forward at some later time to talk about, say, how we're addressing this?
Actually, Ms. Hamilton will be presenting on that in the next item.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Feller.
Enhanced code enforcement is mentioned here, and I would like to know, this is taking care of neighborhoods essentially, but code enforcement is also pretty heavily involved in the homeless situation, encampments, that kind of thing. How many are in the department total? It says here you're adding 3.
Councilmember Feller, we're actually not adding 3, but what we do is we pay for 3 officers with CDBG funds, so they are focused in the CDBG neighborhoods of East Side, Crown Heights, and in the Mesa Margarita area. But these are not 3 new code enforcement officers, they're existing officers.
So it is just part of that funding. So you have a need, am I correct, for more code enforcement?
Yes.
And is this part of this next presentation as well?
No, sir. That'll be handled in the budget workshop, I believe.
But that is probably one of our most effective tools in handling some of the homeless problems, especially in the urban core. So.
Yes, that, and we'll be working closely with the Oceanside Police HOT team as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Kern.
Thank you. I guess the question is probably to the city manager about the homeless outreach team. Are they up and operational? I know they were getting their office space squared away and things. Are they working yet?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so hopefully we can, I know we're trying to get people that are homeless connected to services and the homeless outreach team, because the survey that the police department did last October, if we can catch these people within the first 6 months of homelessness, they're more likely to want services. But once they're beyond that year, it's very difficult to get them to come in voluntarily. So hopefully our homeless outreach team, because I agree with Councilmember Sanchez, just the complaints I've been getting the last 3 weeks seem more than normal, and it seems like the transients are more aggressive of actually asking for people money and being pretty belligerent. And then I know the chief sent out the memo about some strategies, how he's dealing with it. So hopefully long term, I know this is a problem that we probably cannot solve. It's a chronic problem, but I think we're going to have to manage it extremely closely in the next few years.
I also should point out to the council that the shelters, the winter shelters, have closed, and so now people don't have anywhere to go overnight. So we are going to notice that there's going to be a higher impact now that Bread of Life is not open.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Next item 24. 24 is adoption of the resolution approving the 2015-2016 annual and 2015-2025 year public housing agency plans, and authorization for the Community Development Commission chairperson to submit the plans to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, with the inclusion of changes made to the PHA plans as a result of public comments, and to execute all related documents.
Does the mayor open this public hearing? Ask for disclosure.
Staff.
No contact.
No contact.
And participation?
None.
Angie, how are you?
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Chairman and Commissioners. The item before you tonight
is the Public Housing Agency Plan for fiscal year 2015, the annual plan.
Mic on?
Is it,
Mic on.
am I too far away? Can you hear me now?
Okay.
So the item before you tonight is the 2015-2016 annual Public Housing Agency Plan and the 5-year plan for 2015 through 2020. And as Ms. Pierce stated, I will also be going over some information about the 25 Cities North County Homeless Initiative to end homelessness as I go through my presentation. The Community Development Commission administers the federally funded Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program, a rental assistance program. And we assist approximately 1,600 households here in Oceanside. And I'd like to go over a little bit of information about the people that we serve. The average monthly payment is about $824 per month. So we're serving very low-income households with a pretty deep subsidy. And as I'm sure most of you know, the rental rates are rising and vacancy rates are low. So we expect that those will likely, the amount that we pay to landlords each month for the participants in the program is likely to increase. We have about 6,600 households on our waiting list. That's up from last year by about 400. And there's about a 6-year wait for households with the highest priority. And when I say highest priority, those are households that live or work in Oceanside. So those are the households that we assist first. We do have some folks on the waiting list who do not reside in Oceanside, but they are virtually never going to be assisted. So I just provide a little statistics every year about who we serve, because sometimes there's a misconception about the people that are on the program. We actually have 37% families with children, 33% elderly, 50% disabled, and yes, those total more than 100% because people can fall in different categories. And then approximately 54% of our households' primary income is Social Security or pension, 29% wages, and actually only 7% are on welfare. So that's just a picture of the people that we serve with the program. And so this is our 5-year cycle, the same as the consolidated plan, and with the 5-year cycle we provide a progress report. So I'd like to provide you just with a few highlights of the last 5 years with the program and some current information as well. Unfortunately, there's been very few vouchers awarded over the last 5 years with the federal budget. However, we were fortunate to be awarded 48 family unification vouchers in 2011. Those are vouchers for households or families that are separated or due to lack of housing or for some other services, and the purpose is to reunify families or to keep them together. So those are special vouchers that the way they work is that we receive a referral from San Diego County Child Welfare Services. In addition, we received an additional 12 tenant protection vouchers in October 2014, and another 11 are effective today. In essence, what those are is when a property owner opts out of a project-based contract. They have a contract directly with HUD. They choose not to continue that contract, but the tenants residing in that property are awarded vouchers. And so we received the vouchers, and fortunately that property owner did not displace any of the tenants and allowed them to continue with the voucher program. So Marjorie discussed this a little bit, so we're very excited about our invitation to apply for 40 Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing vouchers. They combine rental assistance for homeless veterans with case management and clinical services. We have not received these vouchers before, so we're particularly excited to have been invited to apply. It is our expectation that we will be awarded the vouchers, but we definitely want to wait and make sure that that does happen. The awards are expected to happen around April 22nd. And then finally, the administrative plan for the Section 8 voucher program has been revised to set aside 30 Section 8 vouchers for homeless veteran families, including single persons and chronically homeless persons referred from the 25 cities. It's known as a coordinated assessment and housing placement system, which I will be going over
somewhat how the system works as we in a few minutes here. The administrative plan was approved by you and as a consent item earlier in the meeting. So HUD regulations require that a public hearing be held after a 45-day public comment period. In addition, a resident advisory board is required to participate in the planning process. Basically, these are participants in our program that provide input on our plan. And that did happen. We had 5 of our participants involved and met on 2 occasions. So at this time, I'd like to go over a little bit about the 25 cities, North County, and I'd like to provide you a little bit of information, particularly since there are several council members who are particularly interested in some of the efforts and initiatives regarding homelessness that the Neighborhood Services Department is engaging in. In addition, you received a council update several weeks ago explaining that the Neighborhood Service Department as well as the Oceanside Police Department HOT team are involved in this effort. So just a little bit of information. These slides were put together for a bigger group, but they definitely are relevant, and I've added some information just to give you an idea of the numbers that we're talking about. The Regional Task Force on the Homeless annually counts the homeless. In January, it's a one-time, once-a-year count, and of course it's not completely accurate, but it's about as accurate as we can get. There is a large number of people that go out in the field and actually count the homeless. So the last count, we don't have the numbers for the January 2015 count yet, so this is from January 2014, where it noted that there's 422 homeless persons in Oceanside. And I just want to note that this project, this initiative, is a regional solution. It brings together about 30 different nonprofit agencies, government organizations, the county, the VA. So I think that this is going to be a really great project. So a little bit more information. I already stated that there's many organizations involved. It was initiated by the Department of Veterans Affairs and HUD. And this is a housing first approach, which is a little bit different than the way that persons serving homeless people have done things in the past. And the idea centers on providing homeless people with housing quickly and then providing services as needed. So this, in North County, this initiative is spearheaded by the Alliance for Regional Solutions, which is a long-term collaborative organization which city staff have been participating in for a number of years. So the project was launched on January 23rd, 2015 and started in North County inland. As mentioned, Escondido and Vista were the first to start, and then we were added as of today. Oceanside was added as of today. So the first 100-day campaign will end on May 4th, 2015. And although it's a 100-day campaign, I will be explaining that this is not just simply a one-time thing. Our goal is to set up a system so that we have a collaborative way of determining homelessness and who have the most acuity, who's the most likely to die on the street, the most chronic homeless person. So again, our department is involved in this effort, as well as the police department's homeless outreach team. They're on the 25 cities design team and have been attending meetings with us. So just a little bit of information, and don't want to get too much into the weeds, but just would like to go over with you some of the information about this system. Our current system really was really messy, confusing. There's a lot of agencies doing a lot of different things. Maybe we're helping the same client. It's confusing for homeless people. So that's where we started from in this process. And 25 cities, why is it called 25 cities? Well, it started in 25 cities. All these cities started this. And San Diego did this initiative, or started this initiative last year. And the goal always is to bring this initiative to the entire county. So North County was selected as the second region after downtown, primarily because we have a very good collaborative in the Alliance for Regional Solutions. And so the program objectives, again, are to set up a coordinated assessment and housing placement system. And our goal in the North County was to set up this system to focus on veterans and chronically homeless individuals and families. Just an illustration of trying to put together a coordinated system, and that's our goal is to house homeless persons, but also our goal is to have a coordinated system. These are some of the components of a CAP system, and the very first one is assessment, which we'll talk about, and I'm just going to go ahead and skip on to this. So assessment, what does that mean? That means that we are interviewing homeless persons to find out what their needs are. Some of the homeless people are chronic, and what they really need are permanent housing solutions. Permanent supportive housing, meaning that they have case management where they're living. Others may only need temporary assistance to get back on their feet. So that's what's meant by that. So our focus is to prioritize the homeless and assist the ones that really are most chronic, ill, disabled, and veterans. Those are our priority populations. This is kind of a maze, I realize, but the next step would be that we have the clients work with what's known as a housing navigator to help them get their documents together and find housing. And then finally, housing referral with choice. We attempt to find the right housing for the person. Again, someone might need permanent supportive housing. Another person we may be able to give a voucher to, and they'll be just fine. This is a tool. I'm going to go ahead and skip past it, but there's a specific tool that's used. It's a survey to gauge the needs of the homeless person. Okay. So some of the things that we're looking at when we're determining the acuity is disabling conditions, how long the person's been homeless, that type of thing is what we're looking at in determining how much at risk that homeless person is. So the goal of the North County team is to house 40 chronically homeless and veteran individuals and households in the first 40 days. That's the ultimate goal. Did I say it wrong? 100 days. Whoops. 100 days. Thank you. That's just some information about 25 cities. And so this was done as part of our my presentation on the public housing agency plans. So the staff recommendation is that CDC adopt a resolution approving submission of the 2015-16 annual and 2015 through 2020 PHA plans to HUD, with the inclusion of changes made to the PHA plan as a result of public comment. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ruth. And have a seat. Close public and come back to the council. Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm really glad that we got that we're hopefully getting those 40 vouchers for homeless veterans. I believe you said it was a little over 400 is the best count for Oceanside in terms of homeless. What percentage of that are veterans?
Honorable Council Member, we actually do not have that number. the regional task force does not have it by city. There is a number, I can provide it to you at a later date. There is a number for the county, and we did an estimate, but I don't have that with me.
Will you be doing that in the future, for the future counts? Determining whether any of the homeless are veterans?
Yeah, you want to
or which are veterans?
Honorable Mayor and council members, they actually don't make contact during that night, that count, and actually ask people if they're veterans, so it doesn't happen then. We extrapolated from information that the county has what we estimate to be here in Oceanside. We do know, though, that 29 homeless veterans moved or living here in Oceanside with a voucher from the county, so we know that we have homeless veterans. On our Section 8 waiting list, we have a little over, I think, like 23 that have identified themselves as veterans and being homeless.
Thank you. I had some experience with homeless youth, and they would live with their friends, and the one thing that seemed to help was to get a job. And I didn't hear, besides trying to find housing, what other things. What I see in the downtown are younger folks who are perhaps becoming more aggressive because they don't have a job, and they want the same things that other young people do. So do you have a program that you're going to put together that has to do with trying to get some kind of either training or
Actually, the Alliance for Regional Solutions does have a committee that works specifically on job training and development and getting people jobs. And that's real. It's through ARS, but Lifeline Community Services is...
So something that's happened in Coast Highway, somebody gets, our team contacts them, they're taken over to the Alliance in Escondido, or what?
It would depend what type of services that they need. I know, and I think this is admirable. It's unfortunate there's no sobering services in North County. The two hot team officers had to drive a homeless person from Oceanside all the way to Lemon Grove to get sobering services. So each individual is going to have to be assessed for what they need, and then we'll be able to provide, hopefully, the correct resource for them to go. And if it's for job training, there are a couple of agencies that we can refer them to. A lot of times these referrals, they don't have a way to get places, so this is a lot more intense to actually transport. They don't have IDs. The police have made arrangements with the DMV to be able to walk right in, go to window 4 and get an ID and not have to wait in line for hours and stuff like that. So these are the...
What about transportation passes, like bus passes, things like that, for like a certain period of time?
I don't think that the County Transit District has been really cooperative with providing any sort of passes.
You think that you can make that change, Marjorie, near term?
I wish. I know that it's been tried before, and we do need to get them involved, and perhaps we can through this 25 Cities project. Because
I think if you give an incentive that, for those that really are serious about, getting a job or the job training, and they're not just going to use it just to get, to go to another party down the street or something, or in a different city, that if there is an analysis that yes, this person, he's on the fence. He's on the fence. We can get to this person. We can offer some services that include, transportation, because that is one thing that I think is pretty critical to be able to get to that. Do you think that that's a possibility?
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I'll be optimistic. We'll definitely are taking that suggestion down to make contact with the...
maybe Deputy Mayor Lowry can talk about it at the next NCTD meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move adoption of the resolution. Thank you.
Second. Second. Yeah.
No, voting time. Yeah.
Vote.
Yeah. Ms. Sanchez, I'm sorry. You vote. Thank you. Motion approved, 5-0. Now we're on to council reports. And there's no public comment on off-agenda items either.
What? Council Pillar.
No public comments on off-agenda items. So now city council reports will be Mayor Wood.
Yes. I had a medical problem last week. I was off for a few days. I had to do a lot of medical exams. I'm back at work. I'm not missing an action, as somebody read in the paper. It's just time-consuming doing a lot of medical reports and doing the follow-ups. And thanks for all the kind letters and comments from people. I'm still alive. I'm here, and looking forward to doing a wonderful thing for the city. I'm going to cancel my push.
Yeah.
Cancel what I got to do.
Yeah. Deputy Mayor Lowry. Councilmember Feller.
Thank you. I do want to honor Mickey Todd, lady that lives up in Oceana, 99, the 26th. We have a bunch of Easter egg hunts all over the city on the 4th. Sunrise on the Shore, put on by New Venture, is Sunday morning. And young Jonathan has his birthday on Friday, Jonathan Franklin. And I want to honor him, but I have something to say that I need to say. You know, I realize that we all have different opinions up here. I'm starting to realize that, you know, it really doesn't matter whether I'm here or not. And so I have chosen to it seems like everybody seems to be abandoning ship. Jerry's talking about the assembly, and so I have chosen to resign from the city council as of as soon as tomorrow. So April Fools.
Councilmember Kern.
And all those people back there were writing like crazy, Jack. Because they were looking for a story, because tonight's not a story. Okay, not much. I went to watch the deputy mayor fire the cannon for the Iron Man. But he gets down there, he's there at dark 30, ready to do his job, and the cannon fails. So he had to stand there and listen to the air horn blast in his ear. So, yeah. But, and our assistant temporary interim city manager participated, and he finished, which I for somebody that had a broken toe, I got to commend him for doing the whole race. That was the question. The swim and the bicycle ride, we just didn't know if he was going to be able to run the 13 miles. So good job, Peter. Also last week, the junior lifeguard fundraising event over at OMA raised a pretty good, I don't get the full accounting yet, but Captain Curtis, our chief of lifeguard, said it was a really good event and raised a lot of money for the junior lifeguard program. And also last week, Councilmember Feller and I had the Coffee with the Cop out off Old Grove. That was well attended. We had a lot of police officers out there, a lot of people in the public. And I think it's a very good program. Leonard Cosby, he brought that about, and I think that's a very successful program, is getting police officers connected with people in the community. So I think I'd like to see that program continue, because I think it does kind of connect people and let the police hear about what's happening in the community, other than when they have to respond to calls like that tragic one we had today. So anyway, thank you.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you. So, yes, I believe the times for our Easter egg hunts this coming Saturday is 9 o'clock at Bowdruma Park and then 10 o'clock at Buddy Todd Park. Is it? Okay, Peter's checking, so I may have remembered them incorrectly. I did attend the first annual Oddfellows Backgammon last Saturday, and it was Jacques Demerck that put this thing together. It was pretty darn exciting, and I actually just watched. They for $10, it was all you can eat, all you can drink, and there was even some beer there. And the feedback that I got was, is that across from Huckabee's? You have to know that these are folks from way back when who were asking me these questions. J.C. Penney's, Huckabee's, yes. I didn't even know it existed. It's a fantastically great old hall called Oddfellows, a great service organization, and they even had the $10 was for the admission to the tournament, all you can eat and drink, cake, a really great cake, strawberries in the middle, great, and cash prizes. My friend Rena Morocco actually won first place, $140, so it's pretty cool. And I also have tickets to the Oceanside Heritage Park fundraiser and summer camp kickoff and it's a whole month away. It's Saturday, May 2nd, 2015, 12 to 4, Heritage Park, and the tickets are $5 for adults, $1 for kids. I've got tickets to sell. I think we all have tickets to sell here on the council this year. I think we're trying to get it all out there. I'll return my money in. So I need you to contact me. I need you to come in and get a ticket. Come on down, have some fun, support Oceanside Parks. Happy spring, happy Easter. Thank you. And do you have the date? Time?
Nothing left on the agenda.
There is. Call return to Wednesday, April the 8th, 2015, 2 o'clock p.m. The appointment to planning commissioners. No, I don't.